Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, with some good and bad news after Raiders practice today. Anytime that news happens, I'm going to do my best to keep you guys up to date. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And last week, we had close to 200,000 people join us for our Week 1 watch party. Monday Night Football is going to be electric, and I can't wait, so I hope that you pull up. I'm also going to be live tomorrow for Eagles-Chiefs. Hopefully, Patrick Mahomes can lose. If that sounds good to you, then definitely you're going to want to be subscribed. All right, let's start off here with the good news first, because that's what I want to talk about. Brock Bowers, he was at practice today. He had some sort of like leg sleeve looking thing. Quite frankly, it kind of reminded me of the giant robotical thing that Rob Gronkowski used to wear on his arm. Just imagine that. But on his left leg, it was an entire sleeve. Pete Carroll said that he looked good today. I talked to some people who said that he looked pretty damn good today. Pete did say after practice that he expects Brock Bowers to play. Now, they still listed him as questionable, and I had a source, tell me on Sunday when the Raiders were playing the Patriots that Brock wanted to go back out there in the game, but you also probably got to understand, like, an athlete in the middle of a football game, your adrenaline's running. The next 2 or 3 days, he felt that injury definitely a little bit more, but, I was under the impression all week that he was going to be able to go. Don't get me wrong, he missed practice yesterday, he missed practice also on Thursday, and I was a little bit nervous, but I do think that this has been the plan for the Raiders all week long. They did expect Brock to play. I don't know if necessarily we're going to see a pitch count. Could be something to keep in mind. And instead of, rolling them out there on 100% of the snaps or whatever the heck that they usually do, do you decide to just take away maybe 15 to his snaps and give 15 of those extra ones to Michael Mayer because he looked so good last week? 4 catches, 38 yards, was able to extend that one drive on that 4th down and 1. I mean, that was one of the biggest plays in the game, and the Raiders trusted Mayer to be able to do that. So, could we see some more of that? I want to see some more 12 personnel overall, but Brock, he said this after practice today. He said, I'm excited. Hopefully, I can go on Monday and see how it feels. Now, Brock might just be saying that because if I was Pete Carroll, and I know that I said I expected him to play, there's always that competitive aspect of it. Maybe we don't let the Chargers know that we think he's going to play. So they got to prepare for him no matter what. I do think that it's good news that number 89 is going to be out there. And to show love to Brock Bowers, I want you all to spam 89 down below, the best tight end in the NFL, because if you're a Raiders fan, and I know this, Chuck and I went on a walk today with Chuck. If y'all didn't see on my social media, give me a follow at Mitchell Renz 365. I ran the damn 6 miles. I had to wear something that I'm not proud of, but I'm a man that pays my bets. And when I got done, Chuck and I, we go on a little walk. My knee, it's aching. And I was sitting there with my wife, Alex, and, we were watching that Georgia Tech game, which was unbelievable against Clemson. And I was like, man, I need some good news today. And as soon as I saw Brock Bowers out there practicing and running around, instantly got excited. Instantly was like, feels like this is going to be a good year for the Raiders. I know it's only week 2, but it was good news to see, and it fired me up. So if it fired you up too, give me an 89 down below. Before we get into some of the bad news, I got some more good news here, and it's going to be around linebacker Landon Roberts. And Roberts practiced on Friday, and he was a full participant yet again today. So he's dealing with that elbow injury that forced him to leave week 1 a little bit early. But here's the thing, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Landon Roberts, but I know I'm not the only Raider fan that took notice that when Roberts went out of the game, our defense did play better. Now, I think that there was some correlation more to just do that. Patrick Graham and Pete Carroll, they were trying to bring a little bit more pressure, and Josh McDaniels stinks in making second half adjustments. But when you look at the PFF grades, at 50.5 overall for Landon Roberts, and then, Devin White, 67.3, Tommy Eichenberg, 70.2, and, you got to give credit where credit's due. Tommy Eichenberg played really good, and he stepped up, and I thought that he filled in, the Landon Roberts shoes very well, and then Jamal Adams, he was the highest graded defensive player, highest graded Raider on our team week 1 with a 90.9. I'm not saying that they're not going to, put Roberts out there. I would imagine he's still going to start, but I do wonder how they mix and match some of these linebackers, because a position that, was a little bit worrisome played their freaking what's off against New England. So really curious to see how the Raiders, who predominantly I think they planned on using Jamal, Jermaine, Devin White, and Roberts going into the season. After Roberts struggled a little bit and Eichenberg played well, I wonder if they go with, more of a 5 rotation at linebacker. It's going to be something that I personally am going to be watching for very, very closely. Before we get into the bad news here on today's show, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. And This show is brought to you by them. You and I, we make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Now, Prize Picks did invent the flex play, and the reason why that I'm mentioning that is because I'm going to show you my lineup that I have for this game up against I think it's this one. So this, oh no, that's my season long. I'm already losing my mind. Well, I'll show you both, or I'll show you all my season longs, I guess, because my other lineup's gone. So I got Brock Bowers, which you guys can see. So there was a deal with Dak early on. I got Brock Bowers. I need 5 touchdowns from him. Geno, he's on pace for more than 3,600 passing yards. Jack Besh, less than 600 receiving yards. Jacoby Myers on pace for more than 70.5 receptions. That is a 5-pick power play, so that's 20 to pay $320. I also, though, did one that is a flex that is 20 for $320, and you can also double your money so I can make $40. The one that I did, which I believe this was, okay, so this is my one for the Raiders and Chargers game. I have Ashton Genty, 19.5 receiving yards. I took the more because I want them to run through the freaking air, and I don't want to just keep running into the back of our lineman, especially if, well, when you see the bad news coming up here, we got to throw the ball a little bit more. Daniel Carlson, 6.5 kicking points. I'm going to go with that one. Geno Smith, passing rushing yards. Give me the more there. Jacoby Myers, 57.5 receiving yards. Went more. Justin Herbert, more on the interception. And Keenan Allen, more. 51.5 receiving yards. If you want more of an in-depth look at that, make sure you check out my video Monday morning on the Raiders Report. All right, let's now go to the bad news. And the bad news here is around Jackson Powers-Johnson, who missed his second straight day of practice with a concussion and now has officially been listed as out. Obviously, that's bad, and it's bad for 2 different reasons. Let's first talk about why it's bad for the long term. And it's bad for the long term because JPJ has a history of concussion issues. And as soon as I saw the practice report last night, and it was bad timing for me, one of my buddies here at Chat Sports, shout out to Jack Sperry, he had a engagement party. So, we were just trying to be able to go there and go support him. And this morning, I'm checking out the practice reports again, and I'm like, oh man, JPJ concussion, that scares the hell out of me. But he's got a lot of, issues with concussions. He's already has one this year, and apparently, according to Pete, he said he, banged into somebody on practice on Thursday, which is kind of a little bit frustrating to do with that history. But back in, last season, 2024 OTAs, he missed OTAs and a lot of that offseason program because of the concussions. You go back to the draft history. The reason why he wasn't a first-round pick, there was red flags. There was teams because they were worried about his injury history. They were worried about his concussion. So you got a guy that's dealt with concussions as a rookie. He's already dealing with concussions now in week 2, and he dealt with concussions at Oregon and in college. Like, I love the physicality of Jackson Powers-Johnson, but I'm getting worried because he is a FU brand style football player, a physical mother effer, but, he's got a history of concussions, and he did struggle in that first game, and maybe, this has been something that's going on, and he's trying to, power through it, but I am concerned for his long-term health, and I think if you're a Raiders fan, you have to be a little bit concerned for his long-term health. But the other part of this where I think it's, kind of the bad news is now Alex Cappa's got to go in, and I'm already seeing it on social media, and I hope that Alex Cappa has the best game possible. I do not think that he's going to steal JPJ's job because, again, there was a reason why Alex Cappa was the worst starting offensive lineman last season in the NFL. 50.5 overall PFF grade, 39.7 pass blocking grade, 54.9 run blocking grade. Historically, he has been a better run blocker than he has been a pass blocker, but that could also be different offenses that teams are running overall. But to me, I'm wondering how this is going to impact Ashton Genty. I'm wondering how this is going to impact our entire offensive line in general because of all these moving parts. And, I think it puts a little bit of extra stress on DJ Glaze, who has got a really tough matchup up against the Chargers. Khalil Mack, I don't want another 6-sack game. So this is a big game for the offensive line. And, you can talk all you want about Geno Smith, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, Jack Besh, Ashton Genty. I can keep going. But at the same time, if you can't block and you can't win in the trenches, it's not really going to matter. So here's my question to the nation. What is your confidence level in Alex Cappa, week 2, Monday Night Football against the Chargers. 1, you're not confident at all. 10, you know for a fact he's going to do the best job possible. I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to be hopeful, and I'm going to go with a 4. And some of you might go, man, a hopeful 4, Mitch. But, I think that's the Raider fan in me, where I think you have to respect what this coaching staff did last week, the proper adjustments that they made. And, like Pete Carroll, there was a few moves that this team made this offseason. Devin White, I wasn't thrilled about. Jamal Adams wasn't thrilled about. And both of those players looked really effing good in that week 1 game. They've looked good all offseason. So I do wonder where, they've been this right guard battle between JPJ and Alex Cappa. And us Raider fans, we've kind of assumed that that's just got to be JPJ's job. I think with the 2 linebacker signings of Devin White and Jamal Adams, and a few of the moves that they've done this offseason, where it's their guys, it's like their guys and they're trusting their guys, and they've done well. I'm going to try to do the exact same thing here, and I'm going to trust that Alex Cappa is going to put his best foot forward. But at the same time, my eyes are telling me one thing, but my body's telling me something else. So we'll see what ends up happening. Hopefully that's all good. For the Chargers side of it, Elijah Molden, DB, he's going to be out. And I actually think that this is going to be a big one. Denzel Perriman, y'all know Denzel Perriman. He was a Raider linebacker. He's been with the Chargers before. Physical thumper type of guy, kind of like a Landon Roberts in a sense, but always brings that energy. He is also out in this game. So I do wonder if the Raiders, try to run at that middle linebacker spot a little bit more with Ashton Genty. But if it's up to me, and I don't even think that this is a crazy thing to say, if you're running the rock, we got to run to the left side. I think we got to run behind, Meredith, Parham, and Colton Miller. But the running game now is a little bit more of a question mark. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Saturday. If you're not doing anything right now, our guy, his name is Joey Peterson. He's live right now for Tennessee, Georgia. It is flipping electric over there. And then can't wait for another great college football game tonight, which going to be tuning in for. So I'm heading on out of here again. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Reminder, when Raiders news happens, I will do my best to keep you guys up to date. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to try to get you guys a video. My schedule with Chat Sports is a little bit weird because I am going to be live for what we like to call NFL Red Zone. So you can hang out with me if you want. Starting at, it's probably like 11:30 my time, so 12:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Pacific. And then I will be live 30 minutes before kickoff for Eagles-Chiefs. The Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes have never lost 3 games, and I'll keep saying it. Super Bowl, week 1. I want the week 2 to be the 3rd straight game, and 0-2 Chiefs sounds really flipping good to me. I hope the Philadelphia Eagles can get it done. The good news, Brock Bowers, Landon Roberts practice. Bowers is still questionable. Pete expects him to play. Landon Roberts will play. The bad news, unfortunately, JPJ dealing with a concussion. The long-term issues with that could be bad. He's unfortunately going to be out week 2, which means Alex Cappa is starting for the Las Vegas Raiders. If you want even more videos around the silver and black, right here, I got you. I promise. Click the subscribe button right here. And then also YouTube recommends that you would like these 2 videos. So if you enjoyed this one, I know that I'm at home chilling. Usually we got a lot more graphics, but today is my off day. So hopefully you guys understand the commitment to excellence. So if you want more videos, click these right here. If you want to subscribe, I got you right there.